Good Christmas morning. This is CBS News Up to the Minute. I'm Bonnie Barron. Melissa McDermott has the day off. It is a quiet Christmas morning in much of the world, and in many parts of the U.S., it is a white Christmas. But the snow that's pounding much of the country is not the kind we sing about. This morning, the storm that's already blamed for at least 13 deaths in 4 states is blowing out of the plains. By tonight, it will have painted a broad streak of white from Arizona to Maine. Mark Strassman reports.
A Christmas Eve killer storm system now batters America's heartland. At least a dozen people are dead. In Springfield, Missouri, 14 inches of snow could fall. In Tulsa, Oklahoma, heavy snow collapsed this store's roof. In Roswell, New Mexico, which owns no snowplows, panicky shoppers are after groceries, not gifts.
We need some snack stuff, but we gotta hurry. Okay, look. It's getting bad out.
Very bad out. Oklahoma will shovel out of its first white Christmas since 1975, a foot of snow.
When was the last time you saw snow?
Never.
But in many places, for last-minute shoppers or last-minute travelers, this white Christmas is nothing to carol about. Back in Springfield, Missouri, winter weather froze some flights in midair.
We circled for 30 minutes, but the storm was still in full blown, and they sent us back to St. Louis. And then they didn't know what to do with us.
But Tuesday's real worry was people on the move by car.
I'm staying here, thank God, but everybody else is coming in this. It worries me to death.
Traditional travel stampede has become a Christmas crawl.
Throw a monstrous rain, ice, and snowstorm through the midsection of the country all the way up to the northeast, and it makes for some really chaotic driving for people.
The national weather map also looks chaotic, a classic El Nino pattern, with 2 major storms. All that snow in the southern plains will move into Indiana and the Ohio Valley, and on Wednesday collide explosively with a vast rain system that has been across the southeast and sock the mid-Atlantic. By Thursday, interior New England could get clobbered.
It would not be surprising to see 2 feet of snow in some locations, and even an isolated report as high as 30 inches.
No snow in the southeast, but heavy rains, creating flooding around Atlanta and spawning tornadoes in Georgia, Florida, and especially in Alabama, where Agnes Stanford's world suddenly went black.
It's turned black as smut, and all these trees and tin and stuff are falling.
Much of America is now turning winter white.
I think it's beautiful. I think that it's nice for Christmas.
Then again, for many people, it's the return commute that could be the real holiday hassle. This is shaping up as the most severe Christmas storm since 1969. Mark Strassman, CBS News, Atlanta.
In the few places where Mother Nature is cooperating, holiday air travelers are being slowed by new security procedures. CBS's Jim Stewart has details.
It wasn't the weather as much as the wrapping that delayed many Americans Tuesday. Travelers learned the hard way that gift wrap presents immediately targeted them for extra security searches.
So I have a huge box behind me with a lot of presents in it, and they say there's a good chance it's going to be open in the next 10 minutes. So it should be an interesting afternoon.
One woman at the Dallas airport had 2 suitcases of wrapped presents. She missed her flight.
My whole trip was delayed 4 hours because I was told I could leave my presents wrapped, and believe me, you can't leave them wrapped. Unwrap them.
Be careful about your shoes as well. Even a toddler's sneakers are suspect if they have metal parts. It was a year ago this week that Al-Qaeda operative Richard Reed tried to blow up a plane with explosives hidden in his sneakers. As a reminder of that incident, the FBI issued another warning to local police to be vigilant, although it added, "We possess no information about plans to use concealed explosives against airliners." U.S. officials said they would meet next week's deadline for examining all checked baggage for explosives and are augmenting that with dog teams that will cover other aspects of the airport.
Come in here one day and see them in one concourse, and they could get dispatched to another concourse or a vehicle that's left unattended at the ramp, or maybe be able to go over and search a particular aircraft.
Officials say they have detected nothing in terrorist communications that would predict an attack inside the United States during the holidays. For the moment, the greatest threat seems to be aimed at Allied and American targets overseas. Officials admit, however, they can't be certain of that. Jim Stewart, CBS News, Washington.
Secretary of State Colin Powell spent Christmas Eve consulting U.S. allies for a fourth day about North Korea's threat to restart its nuclear weapons program. From Pyongyang, the statements were more belligerent than ever. One warned U.S. policies are leading toward an uncontrollable catastrophe. Another said the U.S. is pushing the situation on the Korean peninsula to the brink of a nuclear war. At the other end of what President Bush calls the axis of evil, Saddam Hussein said Iraqis are ready to fight a holy war against the United States and that his regime wants to cooperate with U.S. weapons inspectors. To that end, inspectors are now questioning Iraqi scientists. CBS's Lee Cowan is in Baghdad.
A professor of nuclear physics became the poster